Welcome to the Shreveport Connection with Tom here. This video is on your Monday Night Raw results and superstars. And some brief WWE news. Former TNA wrestler Shark Boy, aka Dean Roll, turned 38 yesterday. He was born January 28, 1975. Hall of Famer Road Warrior Animal, aka Joe Laurinaitis, just turned 53 on Saturday. He was born January 26, 1960. Former TNA Knockout champion Taylor Wilde, aka Chantel Malowski, celebrated her 27th birthday on Saturday. She was born January 26, 1986. Former WCW wrestler, the Maestro, aka Rob the Stro Kellum, turned 40 on Saturday. He was born January 26, 1973. The UWF show will air on ESPN Classic. That was on at 8:30 on last night with Billy Jack Haynes, Ken Patera, and Paul Orndorff on the program. AWA show returns to ESPN Classic at 9 p.m. on Monday night with Colonel De Beers versus Reverend Pappas, Hernandez and White versus Doug Summers and Playboy Buddy Rose, Shawn Michaels versus Buddy Rose, and the Barbarian versus Sergeant Slaughter. The tape date is listed as April 20th, 1986. 3MB's Heath Slater and NXT star Corey Graves have been trading shots on Twitter. Slater is now being confronted by Graves fans. Apparently, the first shot was fired by Graves when he implied that Slater copied his look at the Rumble. Heck, I still think he's the Wendy's poster child, as John Cena quoted. Okay. Upcoming Raw live event matches include John Cena versus Dolph Ziggler and Big E Langston in a handicap match, plus Shield versus Kane and Daniel Bryan for the WWE tag titles. Rey Mysterio was backstage at last night's Raw from Vegas, but not used. NXT producer coach Joey Mercury is now on Twitter at WWE Mercury. Ezekiel Jackson has been working with Diamond Dallas Page is DDP Yoga while being away from the WWE with an injury. He continues to tell fans on Twitter that he will be back soon. He posted the following today. Great workout today. Pumped and angry. Not a good combo. Hashtag soon. As noted, Chris Jericho will be working with the WWE through WrestleMania 29. It was reported that he would be working a full schedule. PW Insider reports that Jericho will indeed be working some live events. Even more, we get closer to WrestleMania 29. Brock Lesnar and WWE have agreed to a 2-year contract extension. According to Mike Johnson of PW Insider, terms of the deal have not been disclosed. Lesnar has made it very clear in the past that he has no interest in working a full-time schedule for WWE. However, it will be interesting to see whether he works the same number of dates or if he's agreed to work more dates per year for WWE. Dana White noted over the weekend that he does not believe Lesnar will return to UFC despite coming close to agreeing with a fight with Federer last year while he was working with WWE. White stated that he believes Lesnar will do his stint with the WWE and then go away. WWE's website has an article up wondering who provided Vince McMahon with the footage that showed Paul Heyman was working with the Shield and Brad Maddox. They speculated it would be one of the Shield's victims, Maddox's photographer Carson, or someone else. It sounds like that they're setting up for a surprise reveal. WWE has taped Superstars tonight, and here's the full spoilers. 2 matches, and thanks to Joey OD79 from WrestlingInc.com passing on the results. Kofi Kingston defeated Michael McGillicuddy with a Trouble in Paradise. Usos defeated Epico and Primo. Well, Rosa Mendez tried to interfere, but Primo got kicked in the face, allowing the Usos to pick up the win with a top rope splash. And now for your Raw results from Las Vegas, Nevada at the Thomas & Mack Center. Show opened up with a recap of The Rock winning the WWE Championship from the Rumble. Backstage, Vicky Guerrero said Raw will be out of her hands and will be decided by Lady Luck. She introduces 3 roulette wheels. One wheel had a wheel of superstars. The second had stipulations. Heck, I only seen one reel the whole entire night. And my footage was in Spanish. Somehow the cable company was interfering with the footage. The third was our favorite, the Vicky Vegas challenge. Vicky announced Randy Orton versus Antonio Cesaro. She spun the wheel and it landed on special referee. CM Punk's music hit and he headed to the ring with Paul Heyman. Paul yelled at the cameraman to get out of his way. He tore up a fan sign and he made his way to the ring. He also went out of his way to shove the timekeeper. Once in the ring, Punk announced that it was 435 days of the most historic WWE title reign of the modern era. He said he beat The Rock, and therefore he is the People's Champion. I did not lose, Punk yelled while kicking the ropes. Punk asked the fans if they wanted to put Rock on a pedestal. He said Rock is a cheater, and the fans are cheaters and no good thieves and cheap swindlers. Just like Vince McMahon and Rock. Punk said he didn't need anyone to come out and restart a match. He said he was screwed by Vince just like Bret was in Montreal. He said it would go down as a Phoenix screw job. I go to the panel. Punk asked the Vegas fans if they want to party and celebrate. They cheered. He said they were coming to throw a party for Rock. He said that in his world, they don't get restarts or water breaks. I got screwed and I'm here to crash your party, Punk said. Vince McMahon's music played and he walked onto the stage. Punk called him a cheat and a swindler promoter. Vince said an individual who shall remain anonymous will deliver a videotape that proves that Punk was complicit with a scheme operated by Paul Heyman and involving the Shield. Since the Spanish broadcasting was over talking Vince's statement, Heyman tried to talk, but Vince cut him off. Vince said he would have a performance evaluation in the ring that would result in his termination. Have a nice party, Vince said. Heyman looked concerned, and Punk was still seething. Cole questioned on commentary who the person was that would provide the videotape. Cole was joined on commentary by JBL and Jerry Lawler. JBL scolded Cole for stooging by claiming the Shield interfered. I guess you're happy with yourself now, aren't you, Mr. Unbiased Journalist, JBL said. Coleslaw's hyped that The Rock would appear on the show. Ring entrances for the opening match took place. After Orton and Cesaro came out, Miz walked out wearing a referee shirt, so there's your special referee. A strong opening rant from Punk. He was way over the top in his rant, yet not in an unbelievable manner. I like the dynamic of Punk being livid over losing the title, while Heyman looked concerned about his meeting with Vince. I wonder if the mystery man is Brad Maddox. They did the online entry angle with him, and no one has spoken about him since. The last time he was on TV, it seemed like Heyman was setting him up for something. Then the match starts. Antonio Cesaro versus Randy Orton, non-title, with The Miz as referee. The match was joined already in progress. Orton got the better of Cesaro for a prolonged stretch. JBL accused Miz of giving Orton too much leeway. Cole bickered with JBL to continue their ongoing argument over Cole stooging off the Shield at the pay-per-view as they go to commercial break. After commercial, Cesaro was in control after the break. Oddly enough, JBL said Miz had caught it down the middle. Orton made a brief comeback, but Cesaro cut him off with a knee in the corner and then performed a twisting punch off the second rope for a 2 count. Cesaro argued with The Miz over the speed of the count. Orton went for the hanging DDT, but Cesaro avoided it and punched him in the eye. Miz got upset and asked, "Are you kidding me?" Cesaro shoved him aside. Miz got in Cesaro's face and they bickered. Miz backed off. Cesaro walked into an RKO. Orton pinned him. Afterwards, Miz appeared to be helping Cesaro up, but he put him right back down with the skull-crushing finale. Orton won in 12 minutes 45 seconds. Before anyone complains about the finish being predictable, once Cesaro and Miz bickered, note that the live crowd also saw it coming a mile away. Yet they popped big for Orton hitting the RKO. It was a good way to continue the Cesaro and Miz feud. Cesaro loses nothing by looking competitive with Orton and then losing after an argument with Miz. Backstage segment, the wheel was shown spinning. It landed on Make Me Laugh. So we get your comedy portion of it, and none other than, well, Vicky told him, "Go ahead, go make me laugh." She snorted he snorted at her and walked away. An off-camera wrestler. Ryback made his entrance as Coleslaw questioned what the "make me laugh" gimmick was all about, so I guess it was Ryback. As I go to commercial, this could turn out to be awful, but I like the way that they left viewers wondering what the stipulation was all about heading into the break. Am I the only person wondering if Heyman's performance evaluation could be interrupted by Brock Lesnar? I know I can't be the only person wondering why Vince gets to evaluate Heyman when he actually seems to work for Punk and Lesnar rather than WWE. Former tennis star Andre Agassi and Steffi Graf were shown in the crowd. I heard the announcers say Steffi Graf, but I didn't hear him say Andre Agassi. Since I had the Spanish broadcast team announcing. Primetime players were already in the ring with Ryback and Mike Striker. The object was to make Striker laugh the hardest. The players told a bad joke about what a woman said to Striker when he asked her on a date. "What's up, beer can?" The answer was, "Ain't nobody got time for that." The players were proud of themselves, even though that the crowd and Striker groaned. Striker turned it over to Ryback, who said, "I have a joke. What has 4 eyes, 20 fingers, and is about to be unconscious." Ryback kicked Darren Young. Titus O'Neil got the better of Ryback for a moment, but he took the spine buster, a meat hook, clothesline, and shell shock as Young remained at ringside. Striker said it was no laughing matter. That's Hugh Morris's move. Finisher, but it made him laugh. He patted Ryback on the back while naming him the winner. Ryback turned and glared at Striker. Ryback performed shell shock on Striker and played to the crowd. At that point, I was thinking Ryback had turned heel since the Spanish broadcast team was over talking the talent already in the ring. What a way for respect and the talent in the ring. Why can't Matt Striker learn to keep his mouth shut? Coleslaw asked. Then they showed a video piece airing of Bob Backlund entering the Hall of Fame. Yep. They also hyped Mick Foley as another member of the class of 2013. Coleslaw then said they would be announcing the third member of the Hall of Fame class later in the show. Lawler hyped The Rock for later in the show as they go to commercial. Ryback's segment was harmless. Honestly expected something far worse. I also hoped he'd get something a little better in his hometown. But they lowered my expectations enough that I was fine with that, the way that they ended up doing. After all, it wasn't Santino and Khali. The graphic noted that Raw was more socially active than the SAG Awards, the NHL, and the Simpsons. Backstage segment, Vicky spun the wheel and it landed on Player's Choice. In the ring, Wade Barrett announced that he was choosing Bo Dallas, who eliminated him at the Rumble, who had the greatest night of his career. And Barrett said Dallas's career would end at the hands of the Barrett Barrage. So we get Wade Barrett versus Bo Dallas in a non-title match. Dallas didn't get much of a reaction, and Dallas jumped out to a fast start, but Barrett cut him off quickly. Barrett set up for the bullhammer, but Dallas countered with a power slam-like move and got a pinfall on Barrett. And that match only took 2 minutes. Of course, it's non-title. A good rookie underdog story. Dallas did a good job of being giddy about the win, while Barrett looked angry and then taking it back all at the same time. I'm looking forward to seeing where they go with this. I'm also looking forward to Dallas getting a better entrance music someday. Backstage, Cody Rhodes spun the wheel and it landed on John Cena. Coleslaw plug Cody versus Cena after the break as they go to commercial. The 3 wheels bit seems like WWE overcompensating for the fact that the roulette gimmick is awful. The announcers discussed Cena on the Fruity Pebbles box and showed a tail of the tape featuring Cena and Fred Flintstone. Match number 3, Cena versus Rhodes. Cena dominated Cody, who slid to ringside and announced over the house mic that this was a waste of Cody Rhodes and he was leaving. Cena caught up with him and threw him back in the ring. Cena performed the 5 moves of doom to a mixed reaction and got a win. Match only took a minute and 55 seconds. Cena acknowledged the boos and said by the sounds of it, some of the fans did not pick him to win the Rumble. He said only one man can stand in the ring and say he won the Rumble. He said that throwing Ryback over the top rope was an unpredictable and unbelievable step, but only the first one. He said the winner of the Rumble gets to issue the challenge to the champion of his choosing for the main event of WrestleMania. Cena said this was his most difficult step. There were loud Cena chants. The choice for me becomes difficult because World Heavyweight Championship aside, either person who holds the WWE Championship going into WrestleMania will be CM Punk or The Rock, Cena said. Cena then labeled Punk as the man he could not beat for the last 2 years. And then, of course, there is The Rock, Cena said, a man who I very openly spoke about before he returned to the WWE. I did so because when he returned, I wanted to make sure he challenged one man, and that man was me. Cena then said he opened his life up to everyone for a year and told them how important the match was to him and how he had to win. He said he jousted physically, mentally, and verbally with The Rock for a full year. He said he proved to the world that not only was he in Rock's league, but there were nights when Rock couldn't carry his jockstrap. And then came April 1st, Cena said. He noted he lost the match and The Rock won. There were loud Rocky chants and some boos mixed in. Cena said he has a difficult choice. He said Las Vegas is a city built on making odds. He questioned whether he should choose the World Heavyweight Championship when he has a better odds of winning, or does he challenge one of the 2 possible WWE champions when he has virtually no odds of winning. I, John Cena, challenge on April 7th at MetLife Stadium at WrestleMania 29. And Cena stopped and looked at the WrestleMania sign and then looked to the crowd. I challenge the WWE champion. So this goes as a message to The Rock and CM Punk. You are now marked. You are now marked, men, by yours truly. Well, the Shield's music played and they entered through the crowd. JBL shouted for Cena to leave the ring. Dean Ambrose, Seth Rollins, and Roman Reigns entered the ring and attacked Cena. Sheamus ran out once Cena was beaten down. Sheamus was also outnumbered. Ryback ran out and cleared Ambrose and Rollins from the ring. They reached in and grabbed him. Ryback was run into the ring steps. He got his shoulder thrown into the steps. Sheamus recovered and fought them, but he was run into the ring post. Cena got back to his feet and fought, but he was also outnumbered and eventually took the triple power bomb. The Shield left the ring with all 3 opponents lying in it as the narrator teased upcoming segments for Raw. Commercial break. Cena made the World Heavyweight Championship sound weak by making it seem like he could take it easy. He also went a little overboard by making it seem like the odds are totally against him winning. Does anyone believe that? I hope Alberto Del Rio gets a chance to step up and respond. It doesn't have to lead to a match, but it would be nice to hear from him after a rebuttal of some kind, even though he's a face turn. The angle with the Shield attacking was well done. They have gone after the major babyface names and taken them all down at one point or another. Cena's promo also seemed to indicate that it was to get a singles rematch between Rock and Punk at the Elimination Chamber, since he made it seem like only one of those 2 men could possibly hold the championship at WrestleMania. After the break, the announcer narrated footage of the prior angle and questioned who could do something about the Shield. Backstage, we will show spinning again. It landed on a lingerie pillow fight. The camera pulled back to show Tensai and Brodus Clay not looking happy. Oh, imagine this fight. Tensai stormed off. Vicky had Clay spin the challenge wheel. Don't worry, I'll tell Tensai about the change. And Clay said that with a cornball grin that even Michael Cole can make fun of. Footage aired to the Royal Rumble Fan Fest events. Brodus Clay made his entrance with Naomi and Cameron. The Funkadactyls. They played up the segment, and JBL yelled, "Free Willy!" Commercial break. Jerry Lawler stood in the ring with a mic. Enough, King. Let's just get this over with, Tensai said. He removed a robe to show that he was wearing lingerie. Lawler informed him that it had been switched to a dance-off. Oops, my bad, Clay said. Rather than rip off the lingerie, Tensai danced in it. Not much of a dance for him, but at least he did better than I would. Voters danced with Cameron and Naomi for 15 seconds. Coleslaw said it's not fair that he has the Funkadactyls. Tensai was up next. Lawler told him not to worry because what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. Promise, Tensai said. And Clay encouraged Tensai, who danced while wearing the lingerie and got a good reaction. JBL said someone should blow up the roulette wheel. Ron Simmons was shown watching the backstage monitor. Damn, as he says. So predictable. Backstage, Alberto Del Rio spun the wheel and it landed on Body Slam Challenge. Vicky mocked the idea of Del Rio trying to slam Big Show. Del Rio said that they are in Vegas, where anything can happen, as they go to commercial. Ricardo Rodriguez introduced Alberto Del Rio. The Mexican Bret Hart put his towel around the neck of a young fan. Yeah, really. Big Show was out next. Show swatted Ricardo to the ground and then punched out Del Rio. He pulled out duct tape. Ricardo made an unsuccessful save attempt. Show taped Del Rio's arm to the middle rope. Ricardo put himself between Show and Del Rio. Show kicked Ricardo and then threw him across the ring. Show ripped open Ricardo's shirt and slammed his hand into his chest with a couple of times and beat him up with it while taunting Del Rio. Show teased that he was going to let Ricardo go, but he punched him as they go to commercial again. One of these guys should really hire a manager or a valet who owns scissors. Del Rio seemingly lost the ability to stand temporarily because his wrist was taped to the middle rope. I didn't have that problem the last time I was duct taped. If I ever found myself in that position before. Graphic touted that nearly twice as many viewers watched SmackDown over the NBA game on Friday. I hope the next NBA game features a graphic that boasts that no men appeared in lingerie during their last broadcast. Match number 4, Caitlyn versus Tamina in a Lumberjill match. I missed this match. The other divas dressed as Vegas showgirls for their roles as Lumberjills. Oksana had her headgear ripped off by Caitlyn. The fans behind them immediately complained that they had to watch a divas match. That's a lie, maybe. All the women ended up in the ring and fought until someone had a decency to play Caitlyn's shitty music. And Caitlyn fought Tamina to a no contest. I promise, folks, these things are getting better, Cole said. He announced that The Rock was up next. Commercial break. I love Vegas. I love Raw when it's good. I will never see Raw in Vegas, but it's never good. The Lumberjills fought for no reason. Caitlyn and Tamina stared at one another across the ring. Hey, whatever happened to Chris Jericho? The announcers narrated footage of the Shield attack from earlier in the show. JR, Justin Roberts, introduces The Rock as the new WWE champion. The Rock walked out carrying the same old spinning WWE championship belt. Once in the ring, Rock said that there is only one word that symbolizes the night and our journey. Rock said the word is finally. Rock delivered the finally routine and then added, and finally The Rock is WWE champion. Rock said that there was no accolade on earth that is more deeply ingrained in his blood than the WWE championship. He said that from 1998 to 2003, he had the honor of winning 7 WWE championships. Rock said that this is the proudest moment of his career. Rock said he already thanked his family and friends. I want to take this moment to thank all of you, he said. Rock recalled Punk telling the fans that they don't matter. Rock said that those days are over. He said that whenever Heyman comes out, he's thinking about whether he has a bra big enough to hold his deep-fried Twinkie tits. Deep-fried Twinkies on Fremont Street. CM Punk interrupted Rock. Punk stood on the stage and said Rock didn't win the title. It was handed to you. Just like everything else in your spoon-fed life. He told the fans to boo him because 20 years from now, they will call him a genius, and they are too stupid to know it right now. Punk said that he made the title Rock is wearing it 434 days. He said that if Rock hadn't had any respect for his father and his grandfather, he would walk up the aisle and hand it to him and admit that he stole it from him and apologize to him. Rock held the title belt out and glared at Punk, who smirked at him. Rock told Punk his choices were to come into the ring and face him like a man or stay on the stage like a punk-ass bitch. Punk walked toward the ring. Punk then smiled and went back to the stage and said he would stand there like a punk-ass bitch. He said he doesn't do things on Rock terms. He does things when he wants to. Punk said he might grant Rock a rematch. He said tonight doesn't fit his schedule. He ran through the cities that he would appear. Rock said to Punk that Punk could have a rematch at Elimination Chamber. He said Punk wouldn't take the title from him. Rather, he would take the ass kicking of a lifetime. Rock closed with the "If you smell what the Rock is cooking" line. The announcers hyped the Vince and Heyman segment as they go to commercial. I like the switch of Punk acting like he's granting Rock a rematch rather than exercising the rematch clause in his contract. Punk is doing a great job as an antagonist. And Rock celebration was what it should have been. No balloons over the top celebration, just Rock putting over the title, why it's important to him, and thanking the fans. Footage aired of Damien Sandow spinning the wheel with Vicky backstage. It landed on tables match. So we get Sheamus versus Damien Sandow in a tables match. Sheamus controlled early action, set up a table at ringside. Sandow had his first real offense with a knee at ringside. He pulled out a table from underneath the ring. Sheamus recovers and threw the table at Sandow. Sandow slid the table inside. Sheamus slid the table inside the ring. Once they got back inside the ring, Sandow performed a shoulder breaker. Coleslaw quickly noted that it was the same shoulder that the Shield rammed into the ring post earlier. Sandow put Sheamus' arm inside one of the legs of the table and kicked it before doing a knee drop on it, and Sheamus recovers again. And tried to brogue kick Sandow onto the table at ringside and missed. Sheamus performed the battering ram shoulder block on Sandow. Sandow came back with a leg sweep. Sandow set up a table on its side and slammed Sheamus into it. He set up a table and placed Sheamus on top of it. Sandow went to the ropes. Sheamus recovered. A short time later, Sheamus caught Sandow and performed white noise through the table. The match only took 7 minutes 20 seconds. Coleslaw hyped the Vince and Heyman segment. A WWE main event tease hyped the Intercontinental Cup. The narrator questioned who will rise to become the #1 contender to Barrett's title. I briefly heard the Spanish announce team mention anything about. All I heard was the Intercontinental Cup. Well, they went to commercial after that. This was much more competitive than I expected it to be. And speaking of when it went to commercials, there was no sound. Oh, get that. Spanish on Raw and nothing at all on the commercials. Much more competitive than I expected it to be. They did a good job of working Sheamus' injured shoulder. As for main event, it sounds like a tournament. The concept wasn't explained. This might be their way of setting it up for Bo Dallas as the #1 contender. Either way, I like that it's at least starting on the main event, but Bo Dallas is was not even mentioned in the event, as it gives that shows some sense of importance. And Jerry the King Lawler stood in the ring with Zack Ryder, Great Khali, Natalya, and Hornswoggle for their comedy part. Lawler welcomed the viewers to WWE karaoke. He said each participant will sing the theme song of a WWE star. Khali had to sing Shawn Michaels' theme, blah, 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 all he was singing. He tried to read the words off the big screen and failed miserably. 3MB interrupted, and they said that they know more about music because they are music. Ryder disagreed. Fans asked, what? McIntyre performed an air guitar, threw his bandana at Khali, who fired back with a chop. Ryder hit his finisher on Jinder, the Rough Rider, and Khali eventually chopped Slater, and Hornswoggle hit the tadpole splash on Slater. And the tadpole splash was very similar to a TEW wrestler by the name of Court Caution. I told him in the last time on last week on Facebook, next time you climb up and try that tadpole splash, I'm going to pull you out of midair and give you the 3, 1, 8. Okay. A shot aired of Chris Jericho walking backstage. Coleslaw noted that Jericho returned to the Rumble match and would make his return to Raw after the break. Wow, this has been a painful show for every good rock and or punk segment. This is a silly moment. Scary part is that they have a pay-per-view in less than 3 weeks. I hope this is one of those half-ass shows that closes with a hot angle. Chris Jericho made his entrance to a babyface reaction. Welcome to Raw is Jericho, he yelled. He said he's only been gone 6 months, but it felt like 6 years. I fooled you. He said regarding his Rumble appearance. I did the never, and he did the never, ever routine and played to the fans. And Dolph Ziggler's music played and it interrupts, and out comes AJ and Big E along with his coattail. Ziggler noted that he eliminated Jericho from the Rumble and asked him what he was doing there since he was responsible for getting him terminated. A loud Y2J chant fired up. Jericho told Ziggler to put a leash on his crazy little doggy before she pees in the ring. Langston told Jericho to leave before I ruin your little return. And Jericho asked if the E in his name stands for his bra size and pointed out his giant pecs. Well, Vicky interrupted on the big screen and announced that she was responsible for signing Jericho to a new contract. She spun the wheel for them. It landed on Strange Bedfellows, which means face and heel tag team. She said that they would team together to face the strangest bedfellows the WWE has ever seen, and it's none other than Team Hell No. And you get that match up next. In a non-title match, Coleslaw said that the story of Bryan and Kane eliminated one another from the Rumble match. Dolph held onto the ropes after Kane whipped him there, and Dolph acted like it was a big accomplishment while mocking Jericho as they got a commercial. After the break, Ziggler was in the ring with Bryan. Ziggler blew off Jericho, reaching in for a tag a couple of times. Jericho hits Ziggler's back and knocked him down, and he was running the ropes to tag himself into the match. Jericho sent Kane and Bryan crashing into one another. They argued over whose fault it was. Kane shoved Bryan to the mat. Ziggler tagged himself in. Jericho hit Kane with a shot from behind and then fled the ring. Kane turned around and chokeslammed Ziggler. Kane and Daniel Bryan won with the pinfall and in 5 minutes 45 seconds. Don't understand why they didn't tease Jericho throughout the show. Either way, that was a good use of the roulette gimmick. The match allowed both teams to showcase their internal issues. The third member of the WWE Hall of Fame class is Trish Stratus. Her Hall of Fame video was shown, and Coleslaw hyped Vince in the Heyman segment. Again, commercial break. This is a very deserving recipient. I thought they might wait until WrestleMania was in Toronto. Then again, I thought the same thing about Edge. It's shaping up to be a strong Hall of Fame class. Coleslaw announced that Booker T will be making a major announcement regarding the future of World Heavyweight Championship on Friday's SmackDown TV show. Now that John Cena has announced he will be going after the WWE Championship. Vince McMahon called out Paul Heyman. He told him that if he was backstage looking for CM Punk, he shouldn't waste his time because he was escorted out of the building 10 minutes ago. Heyman came out and offered his hand. Vince asked if he should shake his hand. The crowd yelled no. Vince shook his hand anyway, but then used disinfectant. Vince asked Heyman if he has ever had the Shield or Brad Maddox under contract. Heyman said he wanted to thank Vince for the opportunity to let him come out and settle it. He said the answer was no. I have never had anything to do with Brad Maddox or the Shield, as he said. Vince asked Heyman again if he has ever lied. Heyman recalled Vince's father saying, adversity defines a man in darkest hour. Heyman said he has lied every day in my stinking life because I he's a promoter, and that's what they do. He said they do it to survive. I have lied on the souls of my parents, he said. I have lied. And he said he did it because he had to. He said that with that in mind, he swears that he is not lying now. So, you're an honorable man, Vince asked. Heyman said he's not an honorable man, but he's trying to become one. Heyman said he's never been a saint, and he wants to be in WWE, and if it takes being an honorable man to be here, then damn it, that's what I'll be, Heyman said. I think Heyman channeled Joseph Park with his delivery of that last line. As the show goes past the 3 hours, or past the 10 o'clock, Vince had the cameras close in on Heyman's face and asked the crowd if he was an honest man. Vince had footage that showed Heyman walking with Brad Maddox. He insisted that the camera be turned off. Once Heyman thought it was off, Heyman acknowledged that he and Punk paid the Shield more than Maddox because they are more effective at what they do than Maddox is. The Shield approached Maddox from behind. He saw them and said that he would leave. Heyman told him to take the beating like a man. He told him to chalk it up as a learning experience, and the Shield attacked Maddox, took him out. Back live, Heyman was squirming after being caught. "You got busted," chant from the crowd. "Well, Mr. Heyman, it's a personal performance review." The crowd sang the goodbye song. Heyman told Vince that the man in the video was not him. He yelled at the fans, "Excuse me for a moment, my career's on the line." Heyman once again said that it wasn't him in the video. Heyman said he has a thick New York Jewish accent and it's easy to impersonate. More than one former ECW wrestler has said Heyman has a roommate that sounded just like him, but that's another story. Vince said it would appear as though we have to wish him well in his future endeavors. In other words, Mr. Heyman, and Brock Lesnar's music interrupts, and he stops talking. Heyman looked just as surprised as Vince. Lesnar headed to the ring while Coleslaw asked what he was doing there since he quit WWE after breaking arms of Triple H and Shawn Michaels during his last run. Lesnar circled the ring before entering. Heyman tried to talk Lesnar out of going towards Vince. Lesnar moved Heyman aside and then went face to face with Vince. Brock went nose to nose with Vince, who pulled away. "If I were you, I would do something I would regret later on." "I wouldn't do something I would regret later on," as Vince said. Brock pointed Heyman back to his corner. Brock got face to face with Vince again. He looked back to Heyman, who tried to talk him down. Lesnar grabbed Vince and gave him the F5. "Brock, no more," Heyman yelled. "Please, God, what did you do? What did you do? Oh, my God, what did you do?" Lesnar stood in the ring and then did his pre-fight shimmy before leaving the ring. Lesnar left the ring to close the show. There we go. You have it. We sat through a lot of crap tonight, but the final match was, and certainly the return of Lesnar made everybody happy, and I'm obligated to watch the entire show. Trust me, I would have given up long before the closing segment, though I had to listen to the Spanish broadcast announcing interrupt everything. And obviously that won't sit well with Triple H. I'm surprised Lesnar is back so soon. I thought they would save him for the Elimination Chamber as a surprise. Thank goodness that he showed up tonight, because that's what the show needed to close with a bang. Heyman was great throughout the segment. He was excellent while in the ring with Vince McMahon, and his reactions to Lesnar continued to make Brock feel uncontrollable. If Brock is back for 2 years, as been reported, it's no longer a lock that Hunter gets his win back at WrestleMania. And WWE released a story stating that Vince McMahon suffered a broken pelvis after taking the Brock Lesnar F5 on Raw, and you can view the footage on there on WWE.com while Vince was being stretchered out in the arena while Stephanie was watching on at WWE.com. The web story was quoting sources, so it appears to be that it's just an injury angle. That being said, I didn't worry about Vince landing hard on his hip when he took the move. That's a rough bump for a 67-year-old man to take. As for Stephanie, She's not a regular at WWE events these days, though she still works in the office. Her arena appearances are said to be limited mostly to major pay-per-view events and the television that follows. Alright, this is what happened after Raw went off the air. Robert Dalton attended Monday's Raw show and sent the following report. John Cena came out and said Vince McMahon was awake and in good spirits on his way to the hospital. He said it was somebody's birthday and brought out Sheamus. Then they sang happy birthday until Dolph Ziggler interrupted. He came out. Cena told Sheamus he brought Dolph out as a gift because he knows he likes to kick people in the face. Cena performed the attitude adjustment on Ziggler, and then Sheamus performed the Brogue Kick. And Cena had the announcer put out a cake and water, and he poured the water on Ziggler. CM Punk and Dolph Ziggler versus John Cena and Ryback are advertised for next week's Raw from Atlanta. In an attempt to push ticket sales, The Rock cut a localized promo at last night's Raw for the show on March 25th from Philadelphia. It's been a while since we did a localized promo. Unless plans change, WWE Champion The Rock will not be at next Monday's Raw from Atlanta, Georgia. This will be one of the few Raw shows, if not the only one, that Rock misses between now and WrestleMania 29. One superstar who is confirmed for next week's Raw in Atlanta is Brock Lesnar, but WWE is not advertising Lesnar for any other Raw shows yet. And that concludes my video for Raw and Superstars.